The Bletchley Riddle by Ruta Sepetys and Steve Sheinkin.
Chapter 32. Jacob. Mr. Berrycloth is planted on his permanent stool at the shoulder of Mutton Bar. He turns as I enter, taking my wind-blown hair and muddy trousers and shaking his head with contempt. Busy playing games he is, while the real men are off fighting Hitler. This calls for a cutting comeback, something like, "Well, Mr. Berrycloth, I didn't see you out here at Home Guard training. Perhaps you plan to fight Hitler by striking him on the skull with your pint of ale." But no, that really took too long to be called cutting. I'm working on a revision when the tall man beside Berrycloth turns to face me. "Novus, I was hoping to run into you here." Jarvis. He's flashing those long chompers like a cat happy to see a mouse. "Nice to see you, sir." I lie. I point to the stars. "Just going up to change my clothes?" No, sit with me," he says. "Won't take a minute." Feels more like an order than a friendly suggestion. All the tables are empty. He leads the way to one in the back, and we sit. "I don't know if you saw the news," he says, folding one long leg over the other. "We caught a spy in the American embassy in London." "I read something about it," I say. He sets his hand on the table. "It's quite the story. This fellow, Tyler Kent, was a cipher clerk at the embassy. He had access to all sorts of secret documents. Nasty piece of work, Kent. Sort who gripes about there being too many foreigners on the streets of London, too many refugees." Jarvis leans close to me, only he calls them refu-Jews. This guy really knows how to get my blood boiling. It entertains him. "Isn't that awful?" he says, grinning. Mrs. Tillsbury comes over and sets a plate in front of me. "Some sort of pie with dark gravy. Potato and turnip," she says. "Can't go missing meals, love." Simple kindness brings tears to the corners of my eyes. "Thank you, Mrs. Tillsbury." "Tuck in, by all means," Jarvis says. "It's my job to find out what side people are on." Well, we've been watching Kent. Turns out he's got lots of unsavory friends, fascist types, pro-Nazi buffoons. We find out Kent was offering them papers, material he stole from the embassy, personal correspondence between Churchill and President Roosevelt. Highly classified stuff. The idea was to pass it on to their pals in Germany, so we arrange a raid on Kent's flat, and the man's got boxes of stuff, thousands of pages and secrets. We caught him just in time, I'd say. "Are you going to eat?" "I haven't touched the pie. I'm famished. Or I was a minute ago." "You're smart, Novus. You know what I'm going to say next. Who else was Kent working with? Was he alone in the American embassy, or did he have help? Your mother worked right there up until her trip to Poland. Right up until she pulled her vanishing act. She leaves in August 1939, and Tyler Kent takes over soon after, working the same job at the same embassy." "Hold on," I say. "My mother was a cipher clerk?" "You didn't know that?" "No, she never said." He chuckles. "Sounds like there's a lot about Willie you didn't know." "That's true." "Is it?" "I know." I try to steady my voice. "I know she was a spy." "You know no such thing, Novus, and neither do I. We don't know if she's alive or dead. We don't know what she may have taken from the embassy or who she shared it with. We don't know why she stayed in Poland when her orders were to leave with the other American employees. Can you help me answer any of these questions?" I think about Willa's last visit. It was right before she left for Poland. I can still feel her goodbye hug, the tightness of her grip, the way her chin dug into my shoulder. She never hugged me like that before. I stand up. I should get ready for work. Yes, by all means," Jarvis says dismissively. I'm so sick of being bullied by this toothy scarecrow. I shouldn't say it, but I do. "I have an important job, you know." It sounds so stupid, childish. "Oh, surely," he says, reaching for my plate of pie. "For now."
Chapter 33. Lizzie. Although Jacob insists that I'm prone to exaggeration, I'm being entirely factual when I say this. I now have full appreciation of the phrase, "run for your life." I lead the mad dash to our flat, and as we round the corner, it becomes very clear that despite his injury, Colin really should be considered for service. He's even faster than me. I skid to a stop in front of our rust-red building and fumble through my satchel for the keys. "Lizzie," breathes Colin, "that gent across the street. He's trying to get your attention." I throw a glance over my shoulder. Gibbs, the doorman at Claridge's, is smiling and waving. Most inconvenient. "You didn't see us!" I shout. Gibbs swiftly turns around and we slip inside the building. "Can we trust him?" asks Colin as we climb the stairs. I'm not sure. Gran likes him, tips him generously. He could be a snitch. He saw me here with Jacob before we left for Bletchley, and we have to be careful. Fleetwood is probably staying in Gran's suite. He could show up at any time." A jangle of keys, a twist of a doorknob, and we're inside our flat. Colin shuts the door and locks it. I stand silent in our foyer, and without word or warning, an odd rush of emotion reigns over me. "What is it?" says Colin. I don't know, I tell him. "Seeing your house, coming back to it, makes you feel things." "Yeah." Colin gives a gentle nod. "Yeah, I understand. A few years ago, I drank some milk that was full of bacteria. I was in the hospital for an entire month. When I finally came back to the mutton, I had all sorts of feelings." "Exactly. Thank you for understanding, Colin." "Before we go inspecting, take a breath and look around. Is everything as you remember?" he asked. It hasn't been long enough for my memories to fade." "No, that's not what I mean," he says. And then I understand. "Oh, Colin, you're brilliant." I turn in a slow circle, scanning the room. "Yes, I noticed small changes. The sugar bowl on the table, that wasn't there. Those 2 books that are off the shelf. The teacup next to the chair. I see it clear as day now." I turn and face Colin. "Someone has been in the flat." Marion says we need to write down all the details, even small things. Says it will help the investigation. Colin removes his rucksack, and while he fishes for pencil and paper, I walk through the flat. The changes are small, probably undetectable to most, until I get to Willa's room. And then I gasp. Colin steps in beside me. "Blimey! Looks like a bomb went off. Someone was searching for something. Think it was Fleetwood?" "No, he's the meticulous sort. Can't stand disarray." "Well, this is a pig's breakfast. Looks like a raid." The way Willa's clothes are strewn about the room, it makes my stomach hurt. I reach for a blouse, but Colin stops me. "Don't. If we move anything, they'll know someone was here." Good thinking. I can't remember if I put the floorboard back in place. Could they have found the hiding spot? I make my way to Willa's closet. The board has been removed. I kneel, take a breath, and reach down beneath the floor. Nothing. If something else was there, it's gone now. Drat. Noise sounds from the foyer, a shaking of keys. Someone's here. I jump into the closet and pull Colin to follow. We shut the door. "Careful, there's a hole in the floor," I whisper. We crowd together into the corner. "I locked the door," says Colin. "Who has keys?" "Jacob, the building superintendent, and Gran." "Fleetwood," we whisper in unison. Panic thoughts bounce at me through the blackness. "Colin, what if he hauls me off to Cleveland? Will you and Marion continue the investigation? Will you write to me? What if we get locked inside the closet?" "Shh," says Colin. "I've got my tools." The floorboards creak. I press my back to the wall. "He's inside the flat." "Shh." We stand, listening. I feel a trickle of sweat drop behind my ear into a channel down my neck. A faint rhythmic clap sounds from the living room. Is he opening cupboards or drawers? There's a clanking of bottles. Glasses, of course. He's in the liquor cabinet. I pray that he takes the bottle and leaves. After a few long moments, we hear the front door close. I reach for the doorknob. "Wait," whispers Colin, grabbing my hand. "It could be a trap." His fingers gently fold around mine. He could have closed the door, but is still inside, waiting to see if we'll come out. Oh my, Colin is quite good at this. Generally, I'm the one to identify perils and pitfalls, but standing in the dark, holding Colin's hand, it's jumbling my thoughts in the most annoying of ways. Chapter 34. Lizzie. After what I imagine must be 10 solid minutes, we slowly open the door. Light floods into the small space on the sour scent of cigar. We tiptoe out of the closet and Colin inspects the flat. He returns to Willa's room. "Talk about a close call," he whispers. "What time is it?" He checks his watch. "Going on 6. Per Marion's schedule, it's time to eat. Then we've got to head to the station." We sit on the floor. Colin removes the sandwiches from his rucksack and we review our findings. "Fleetwood's hot on the trail," says Colin. "The embassy probably noted our names. There's record of us being there." He hands me a jam sandwich. "Say, that bloke that Miss McQuarters mentioned, the clerk that got arrested for stealing files, did your mom know him?" "I don't know, but I do know that she worked in the clerk section, so she must have been aware of him." A rat in the American embassy. That's big stuff. Treason. And the Polish families that Miss McQuarters mentioned, that feels important. We need to run that down. Gosh, this sandwich is good, he says, swallowing a bite. Wish we had some crisp. Gran says crisp are unhealthy. Say, the Polish families, they might have been the last to see Willa, and I had thought, I'm surprised I didn't think of this earlier. The strings of odd lettering in Willa's diary. What if they aren't coded phrases but actual words in Polish? Hey, that's a good theory. You might be onto something. Colin leans back against Willa's bed, stretching his leg out in front of him. Overall, I think our mission today has been quite successful, I say. We confirm that thus far no one has reported witnessing Willa's death. We have a plan to speak to the ambassador and a delightful party to attend. Yeah, not bad, says Colin. Now we just need to sneak off to the station and make it back to Bletchley before the Germans bomb or Marion tells my mom and we're dead. And we both laugh. A soft spatter sounds from Willa's bedroom window. Rain. Excellent timing, I note. Rain and brollies provide good color. We'll sneak out through the back of the building. It's too dangerous going out the front. We can't risk Fleetwood following and discovering that I'm staying in Bletchley. Right, and that doorman might be a snitch. If Fleetwood finds me, he'll haul me to America on the spot. Colin nods slowly, finishing his sandwich. He looks at me in a curious way. Is there something on my face? He shakes his head, then looks away. We better get going. He stands, lifting his rucksack. I rise and look to the closet. Should I replace the floorboard? Colin doesn't reply. He's now standing at Willa's dresser with his back to me. Colin. He turns around, gripping a framed photo. This photo, these are your parents? He asks. Yes. And this woman? Colin's voice drops to a whisper. This woman? This is Willa? Colin looks at me, his face awash with shock. Because I recognize her. I've seen her, Lizzie.
Chapter 35. Jacob. I'm swimming in my square pond, gliding through cold, clear water. Jacob! I'm deeper than I've ever been before, but feel no panic. No need to go up for air. I like it down here. Jacob, wake up! Who's that, a fish? A turtle? Funny, they sound like Lizzie. Now my face feels wet. Makes sense as I'm underwater, but it wasn't wet before. How curious. Jacob! I open my eyes. My sister stands over me, holding a now empty mug. Willa came to visit you? I sit up, wiping water from my forehead. I was finally getting some sleep. Willa came to the mutton, Lizzie roars. She kicks the side of my bed. She was in this room? What time is it? I look around for my watch. Colin stands in the doorway. I saw her, Novus, he says. She came up here, and you talked with the door closed. I scowl at the kid. Didn't you realize you spied on your guest? Colin looks hurt. Didn't realize it was so secret. It's not secret, I say, just private. Private from me? Lizzie demands, with hands on her hips, elbows cocked for battle. How could you not tell me? I'm sorry, I was too much to try to explain in a letter. What letter? You never wrote to me. Fine, I'll tell you now. I jump up, furious with both of them, and feel ridiculous. I'm in my undershorts. I reach for my trousers. Colin, I say. What? Shut the door on your way out. He and Lizzie share a glance. She nods to him. He closes the door and starts down the screeching staircase. That's how I knew someone was coming up to my room, the rude music of the stairs. It was near the end of August 1939. I just got into the mutton. I was pulling books from a box on my bed, stacking them on the windowsill, and an empty pipe clamped between my teeth. There was the knock at the door. My mother came in. Mom? A bit taller than Lizzie, with a more angular version of the same face, wavy brown hair, and an immaculate gray jacket and skirt. Serious, sober, but watch her eyes for a mischievous sparkle. She said, Since when do you smoke a pipe? I mean, why not? I put down the pipe, give her a quick hug. I was stunned to see her at Bletchley. I told her I'd been chosen to work in government communications and given her the Foreign Office address in London. How'd you find me, I asked. I've worked in London a long time, she said. I know a few people. What does that mean? Sit with me a minute. I shut the door of my room. You could get me in trouble just by being here. It's all right, Jacob. I just wanted to see you. She sat on the edge of the bed. I sat at the table. She told me she'd be traveling to Poland for work, leaving that evening. It was obvious Hitler was about to invade Poland. She was to help pack up the American embassy in Warsaw. That sounds dangerous, I said. No, not really, she said. Even if a war starts, the Americans aren't in it. It should be fine. Her words were calm, but she seemed anxious, restless, so unlike her. "So why come here and tell me?" I asked. "Wouldn't you be back in a couple of weeks?" "I just wanted to see you," she said. Again. She stood and looked around the tiny room, laughing. "My God, this is a closet. It's a bit snug. How's the food? Quite good." Did she really come to ask about the food? She looked into the box of books on my bed. "And how do you like the government communications work?" "It's fine. Interesting stuff." "Mom, you can't talk about it," she said. "I understand." She pulled out my Polish English dictionary, a tattered red book that used to belong to my dad. "You still have this?" She smiled a sad smile, flipping through the pages. "Do you ever study Polish?" "I've been a bit busy." "No, of course, but you should. Your father wanted you to learn." The visit was getting stranger and stranger. Her eyes were glassy with tears. Mom was never a big crier. "I'm sorry," she said, blinking. "Do you have anything?" I looked around for a handkerchief, a towel, anything clean. "Hold on." I ran down the hall and came back with a piece of toilet roll. "Thanks," she wiped her eyes. "I should go. Just remember that I love you." "Mom, this is crazy. You're coming right back." "Write to Lizzie more often," she said. "She misses you, talks about you all the time." She brushed the hair out of my eyes, something I'd always hated as a little boy. And then the embrace, the bear hug with her chin digging deep into my shoulder.
Chapter 36, Lizzie. I've never been a crier, but I'm fighting tears. Furious tears. Fists clenched and nails biting my palms, I take a breath and try to speak slowly. Willa was here? She traveled all the way to Bletchley to tell you about her trip? She seemed different, worried, and you didn't think to mention that to me? I dove into work as soon as I arrived. Days turned into weeks and Mom didn't come home. What should I have said? Are you really asking that? Our mother appears out of nowhere and is acting strange, very unlike herself. Instead of being concerned and trying to gather information, you dove into work and just forgot about it? That makes no sense. I began pacing, trying to untangle things. The question is, why was she so worried about the trip to Poland in the first place? That's an important clue. And why did she need to see you to announce the trip? She's barely mentioned it to me. She just told me to mind Viola while she was gone. Jacob shrugs. She probably didn't want to worry you. No. She wanted to share the information, go on the record somehow, that's certain. So she told you, the emotionally distracted child, because she knew you wouldn't probe deeply, and then she hid. No. I'm not going to tell Jacob what I found beneath the floor. He doesn't deserve to know. He clearly doesn't care enough, and if he can withhold information, I can too. She hid what? Says Jacob. She hid her fear because she knows I'm a tremendous sleuth and would immediately uncover everything. Did she hug you? Asked Jacob. Before she left? Of course. Just a normal hug? Don't tell me you don't remember. My brother baffles me. He wouldn't think to tell me of Willa's visit, but understand that I've spent countless hours revisiting that final hug. She hugged you tight, right? Unusually tight? The hug. I don't reply. It's painful to think about. Jacob exhales a sigh of exhaustion. Where were you today? I went to London. His head snaps to me. What? London could be bombed any minute. What were you thinking? I was being proactive, taking the investigation into my own hands instead of waiting for others. I went to the American Embassy to meet with Olivia McQuarters, one of Willa's colleagues. She worked at the embassy in Warsaw. She was there when Willa arrived. Jacob pauses near the window. Wait, she saw Mum there in Warsaw? Yes. She said Willa helped pack up the embassy as planned. Then, the day they were supposed to leave, Olivia saw her through the window of a restaurant. Willa was sitting with a group of people, Polish men and their wives, she said. Polish men? What Polish men? I don't know. But when the time came to leave Warsaw, Willa was nowhere to be found. Now Jacob is pacing. Meeting with the Polish families? Was that an assignment for the embassy? It didn't sound like it. Lizzie, whispers Jacob, do you ever get the feeling that we didn't really know Mum? What on earth is he implying? Of course we knew her, I say. At least I did. I do. I mean, how did she find me here? And did you know she was a cipher clerk? Working with secret documents? This MI5 man, the smoking scarecrow, he seems convinced she's some sort of secret agent. Impossible. Well, that's what I told him, says Jacob. Do you doubt it? Jacob pauses. He looks toward the corner of the room, eyeing a stack of books. His voice drops in volume. There's something else I should tell you, Lizzie.